You want to be 5. They won't get out of hand either. They won't take advantage of you. You'll activate the heart of them.
I wrote it. Can I read it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Do you know it without reading it?
Huh?
You wrote this before you heard anything today, and now you're different. Change your name tag.
Yeah.
You're different now than when you wrote this.
Yes.
And so, can you speak from your newest perspective?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first I wanted to thank Abraham, you, and Jerry.
Yeah.
For being the channel of these wonderful teachings.
And you?
I've been waiting 20 years since I discovered Abraham in 2007 to be at this moment. So I'm a little bit nervous.
Waiting or getting ready?
I'm trying to.
Is it the perfect rendezvous or 20 years too late?
No. Perfect. It's always good.
We're just going to play with you a little bit. Wouldn't you say that differently then?
That I will say in 2006 or...
So what do you want to say about, in other words, has it been a total waste of life until this moment?
No, at all. It's been, I'm talking about contrast, the highest highs and the lowest lows.
So this is a perfect time for us to have a conversation, except we used up all your time.
Yes.
We'll hear from you.
I have like a 3-part question. One was,
One is.
One is...
Oh, no, that was. What's the next one?
Well, I'm going to ask one. I have manifested everything I wanted in my life. All of it.
Oh, really? Then you should be dead.
That's my question. It's like, why stay
Why
long?
are you even here? Something's gone wrong with the universe. Oh, we know what it is. You don't know what you're talking about. In other words, you have not manifested everything that you want. It's like Esther was with grandchildren at some fireworks in Canada many years ago, and they were different than Esther had ever seen before. They had created fog, and it was lots of low lights, and instead of the fireworks that she was used to seeing, it was all close against the ground. It was different and magnificent. And Esther said, "Isn't this just the most beautiful fireworks you've ever seen?" And Laurel said, "So far." And that's really how we want you to feel. So far. Because what we want you to take away from what we've been talking about already, you have a vortex full of things that have not come to pass yet. So for you to say that you've received everything that you've ever wanted, we know is flatly not true.
Thank you. I agree.
Okay. So why did you say that?
Because I had like a year ago or 2 years an existential fatigue. So I was very confused with why I wanted to manifest. I wasn't sure what.
But what we're getting at is that's 2 sentences that you've offered to us that we've played with you about, because it's words that you hear around, but they're not words that are accurate to what's going on. As you begin feeling more about what's really going on, then you have a better and better opportunity to come into vibrational alignment with them. It's like every time somebody sits in the chair or anywhere that we're focused with them, there are usually 2 things going on. There's what they're saying and what they're vibrating, and they're often not even close to the same thing. And sometimes what they're saying is the opposite of what they're feeling. And so what we're suggesting is that if you can get to the heart of what you're feeling, then we can have some conversations and some things can happen fast. So true to what we've been talking about already, let's start this creation the way we were describing that creations begin. What is at the heart of this question? What are you feeling? And it doesn't matter if you think it's a positive or a negative thing. What is the feeling that is inducing this conversation? What's the feeling?
Exhaustion.
Well, isn't that good to know? I'm tired. So here's a part of the answer. You're tired because you're using action for things instead of using energy. And the action that you're using is working against. And so that is exhausting. So then what does that make you want to say?
Does it make me?
What did our answer then make you want to reply? You said exhausted, and we said that's because you're going about it the hard way. You're not going about it with the path of least resistance. You're not using energy and non-physical resources if you're exhausted. And so then what's the next thing that you want to say to us?
The first thing that comes to my mind is keep at it, at being a...
Say what?
Keep at it, at being a service, doing even more.
Keep doing the things that exhaust me? That seems weird. Abraham, I'm going to just get more and more tired until I'm completely depleted. Really? There's a saying that humans sometimes use. It can be funny when they use some word like craziness or stupidity or idiocy, is doing the same thing that doesn't work over and over and over again, expecting it to start working. And so that's what a lot of people are doing with their actions. So what do you mean about service?
Well, and this existential fatigue, right? Doing the same thing, expecting different results. It's a definition of insanity. I don't want to keep doing the same things. But when I was lost, and what I do next, what do I manifest next? But
you see, here's the thing. When you feel lost, and it's been going on for a while, so you're really feeling it, there's another end of the stick that's activated that is found. There's lost, and there's secure, and there's timid and afraid, and there's confident. And so even though you can't feel this, we're trying to convince you that it does exist and that your inner being is there. So knowing that, or even suspecting that that might be a little bit true, wouldn't your next question be, well, how do I find the found? And we say, look for it where it is. Well, where is it? It hasn't manifested yet. It's not in my bank account yet. Well, don't look for it where it isn't. Look for it where it is. But Abraham, I can't see it where it is. You just told me that it's just a smear, or that it's just a vibration. I can't look for it where it really is, which is right. You can't look for it or sniff for it, but you could feel for it. So what does the opposite of lost feel like? There is an obvious awareness. See, a lot of people, they want to fight this notion that I really know what I don't want. I don't want to be lost, and I don't want to be unseen, and I don't want to be unheard, and I don't want to not have any money. But in that knowing what you don't want, there absolutely is a knowing of what you do want. It takes a willingness to kind of feel for it. You know how lost feels. What does found feel like?
That's what I think I failed to communicate. When I said at service, now I found that I want to help people that have substance use disorder, something I have never done in my life before. I want to be a therapist. I want to help. That's what I meant, to be more at service.
So,
which is my next question.
So you skipped over some steps, and so you can't get there from here. You figured out what you need to do to feel found, but you didn't describe to us in a meaningful enough way that we believe that you found the feeling of found. Because if you'd found the feeling of found and had rested in it a little bit, then ideas would come to you from right where you are. In other words, is that what happened? Did you find the feeling of found, and then it just occurred to you that what you would do is help lost people be found?
Kind of.
Can you see what we're getting at? Esther had an experience recently, really got her attention, because her nature is to help. And this person recognized her while she was just moving through her personal life and asked if they could visit a little bit, and they had lunch together. And then he explained some things that were going on, and right away Esther could see how she could do something that could alleviate his immediate stress. It was a financial thing, in big trouble. And so she did something to alleviate his immediate stress. And then Esther went on with her life and went several other places, and months later came back, ran into the same guy at the same place again. And now he just needs more money. And Esther thought, what was I thinking? Because I am an uplifter, and I want to really uplift, but taking an action when there's no vibrational movement doesn't help anyone ever. And so what we're saying to you is, we're not saying that you haven't found a really good idea of something that you want to do, but you want to flesh it out. You want to live in the vibration. Esther thought that she was already there and was astonished to find out that she tried to take a shortcut, and said to him when he asked for more money, no, because that didn't work last time. We need to take a different tack here. But it's not a fast enough tack, and that's the thing. Just give me the money, and then I'll talk about it. Just help me in some physical way. Help me in some physical, tangible way, and then I'll work on this harmony stuff. No, you won't. If the tangible thing relieves you just a little bit and you don't do any work, then in very short order, you could win the lottery and be right back where you are. It feels to you like we're talking about two different things, but we're not. We're talking about exactly the same thing. Until you are found. Are you found?
I think so. Not sure.
So talk to us a little bit about what your plan is.
Well, my plan, I'm already doing it, is, I think one of the things that since I'm little, I've never felt that a sense of belonging in this planet, on this world. And I think that cause that I have since I'm 8 years old, panic attacks. I will end up in ER 3 times a year, 3 days crying, and lately that's why I stopped.
But everything that you're saying is not about what we ask. Talk to us from your found position, not from your lost position.
From my found position, when I feel that whatever gift the universe gave me, because in every room I arrive, every person I interact with, I feel that I leave something, and I agree. It's not just giving the money.
We don't disagree with you. So why are you talking to us? What is it that you're looking for here?
Okay, one question then. So
I'm starting to regret not letting you read that.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read it. I have worked a lot of all of my attachments in life, attachment to money, fame, success, we spoke before, all of it.
You're letting go of all of your attachments?
Yeah, I let go of all of my attachments. But there's
all of these things that you manifested, you decide that you have to let them go. Why?
Because I don't want them anymore. I don't want them.
Even though they represent the evolution of knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, finding a vibrational alignment with it, ideas coming and manifestations happening, then they no longer apply because they don't represent the success of creation?
No, they represent who I am today, and I'm very proud of them. But I don't want, let's say, to put it more, I don't want to go back to that life. I want a new life. So I don't have any attachment to any of those things that I manifested before. I'm very proud of them. I love them, made them who I am, but I'm not attached to them anymore.
Would you have to carry them all with you everywhere you go?
Yeah, I call myself version 4.0, Carlos. To come to 4.0, you have to go to 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will not change anything. I love everything I manifested.
But what we're getting at, even in the wanting to let all of that go, there's a sort of pushing against it. And it is not in harmony with your intention when you came into this physical body. You said, I'm going into a physical place. We're not saying that everything that you've ever created you have to drag around with you forevermore. That's not the point. But it's quite a different thing to say, I'm letting go of everything like it's an attachment when your inner being sees it as a creation that could buoy you, that validates how the universe works, that is about the law of attraction, and it's about you finding vibrational alignment with it. So is what you're conveying to us and what you're conveying to the people, we're really asking this, the people that you're helping, is that don't feel bad that you don't have anything, because having things is not the answer. What you want to do is spiritual stuff, and I'm going to demonstrate how spirituality is so much more important than...
No, I failed to communicate. I didn't mean that.
We're listening.
Yeah, I failed to communicate. When I meant
talk slowly.
Yeah. When I meant if you are a touch of winning the lottery, having $1 billion, right? We all humans.
Is that what you're letting go of? Did you win it?
Yeah, no, wanted to have money. No, but money is beautiful.
And so you're letting go of wanting to have money?
Yeah, it's not necessary for me now, but I don't judge it.
But we want to help you find the distinction of you're wanting to let go of a desire.
Yeah, the attachment. I want money, yes, but now the attachment to it. That's what I'm failing to communicate.
You see, we're talking about the same thing, but you're going about it in such a hard way. We're asking you to go to the vortex where there is no money, where there's love and clarity and certainty and security and foundness and well-being and home. And so we're talking about the same thing, but you're talking about it in a way that won't work, because you're saying, I'm letting go of all of that I'm not letting go of. I'm letting go of all of that I'm not letting go of. I'm letting go of all of that I'm not letting go of. Because when you're focused upon it, you're not letting go of it. You're talking about it. It's in your vibration, and that's why you're feeling this. You certainly can talk about that, but don't talk about that in opposition to that, like I never should have done that, like that was a mistake. Everything that you now are came as a result of everything that you've lived before. So it's all been of value. It's all been of value. Just like those that you're wanting to help and uplift are living what's of value to them. Can you feel the difference?
Yeah.
Can you feel the difference?